Welcome back to the Ascension Podcast. I am your host, the Robin Boynton. They told me there's a second one, a first one. I'm the third one. But as for me and my house, I am the Robin Boynton. God bless you all. I want you to know that if you're listening to my voice right now, it means that you made it, and that's enough right there. So can we give God thanks for the fact that He's still a way making God? Sometimes we're asking God to do something like make a way for us financially, make a way for us professionally, make a way for us in our health and our family and our connections, whatever the case may be. But sometimes the best way that God ever makes for you is the way of making you or getting you to another day. Anyway, here we are, right? Let me go ahead and do this real quick. Here we go. I hate when I have an extension cord that gets wound up. It's like you're supposed to be a lot longer than that, but you're just stuck. Anyways, I said this the other day, and I feel like it was great to talk about. I said, when you go to school, right, when you want to become a doctor or a nurse, you go to school and they teach you how to do that thing. You literally have to go through training and testing. If you want to be a neurosurgeon, you have to perform surgeries and dissections and do all these things before you finally get the job and are put completely into that position. That is the same thing that happens in our life. We pray and we ask God to take us somewhere. This is who we want to be. This is what we want to do. And we think that it can happen overnight. Well, baby, you weren't trained for it. You weren't prepared for it. You don't have the experience. You don't have the skills. You don't have the knowledge. You don't have the wisdom to handle that thing. You're not thinking on that level. How chaotic would the world be if every child who wanted to be a doctor got to just become a doctor without having to go to school? The same applies in faith and in our relationship with God and our expectations and our prayers and what we're hoping for, wishing for, and praying for to see happen in our life. Everything is a training class. My bishop cousin, he told me, today is not punishment for your tomorrow. That every single day that you live, God is only preparing you for where He's taking you. Every single day. Our challenge is believing it, number one. Believing that we serve a God of forward, that what you're experiencing today is not because you messed up terribly yesterday. Like, yeah, we can mess up and we go through things. Actions have consequences, but it's not God punishing you. Like, you're not stuck in this cycle because of what happened to you. It's just God is preparing you for what's to come, and He'll use that same situation to prepare you if He has to. So a lot of people don't really believe in a forward God. So in a day that is pushing them into their tomorrow, in the today that is teaching them, training them, posturing them, and positioning them for their tomorrow, they don't get it because they think that today is because of their yesterday, when today is because of today, which is all in alignment for where God is taking you to tomorrow. The Bible tells us that He declared the end from the beginning, which means everything starts in alignment with where it's supposed to end. When they record movies, they film the end of the movie first so that the entire start, the middle, all of that can align with how it's supposed to end. What sense would it make for God to start a thing that He hasn't already finished? All of our ups and downs, our twists and our turns, it would just pollute the whole thing. God had to finish it before He started it, that it would be exactly what He purposed and predestined it to be. The Bible tells us that God watches over His word, watching over His vision to perform that thing. He's not letting it just float around and maybe it'll happen. No, He's watching it. He has His hands on it. It's going to end exactly how it's supposed to. So a lot of people don't believe in a forward God, number one. And then number two, a lot of people don't want to go through the process. Today is not punishment for your yesterday. It's preparation for your tomorrow. You're being prepared for this every day of your life. It's preparing you for whatever you prayed for. And even if you haven't prayed the prayer, it's preparing you for what God has for you. Sometimes it's not that we open our mouth and ask for it. Sometimes it's just in us anyways. I want to say that a little bit better. There are situations where we're like Peter, and Peter prayed, Lord, if it be you, command me to come to you on the water. I want to walk on the water and reach you on the water that I can know it's you. Peter prayed for that thing. But then there are some moments where you just called into it. Jeremiah didn't pray for it. Jeremiah didn't ask for it. Neither did Moses. It was just who God had purposed and predestined them to be. Moses, my servant, you are going to go deliver the people from Israel. And then you start asking questions and making arguments like, God, how can I possibly do this? God, what's really going on? How is this going to work out? Because I didn't ask for this. There are some things that we don't pray and ask for, but yet we're in expectation for. Does that make sense? It's like there's greatness down on the inside of me, and I can't help but to desire it, want it, sense it, feel it, but I can't even articulate it. Think about it. Before Moses was ever told who he was by God at the burning bush, he was already moving in that greatness. He was already trying to save people, already trying to bring justice. Greatness is always working in us. It's our job to come into alignment with that thing, to come into an awareness of that thing and be intentional about it, to partner with it. God is always moving us forward. Every day of our life is a training session, and it's up to us to study the material, to learn, to grow, and to become better. Do you know I can literally tell when I am making myself vulnerable to attack? Like, I can tell when I get too caught up scrolling too long, I start to recognize, okay, I'm making myself vulnerable for attack. Once I start feeling the certain emotions that pull me down, I say, all right, I'm recognizing I'm leaving myself vulnerable to attack. And so because I've learned, I can apply what I've learned, growing in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and with man, and growing. Understand there are 3 dimensions of growth, and I've been talking about this on live the past couple days. Level 1, which is the foundational level of our entire existence as people. A lot of people go after level 3. Well, I should probably give them to you. Level 1 is the spiritual, and level 2 is the psychological, which is where the soul and the mind and the emotions are. Level 3 is the physical and professional. A lot of people go after professional growth. They want to make more money. They want to have a bigger house. They want to travel more. Okay, great. But just because you have a bigger house and have more money, they say money can't buy you happiness, right? Level 1 is the spirit. We give our life to Christ. Christ saves us in the spirit. Once we become strengthened in our spirit, he overflows into our psychology, our psyche, our soul, the mind, the emotions. And so he saves our soul, the soul that was disconnected from the spirit, where we started to do what we wanted to do and be whatever we wanted to be, unknowingly killing ourselves. We took leaves off of a tree, sewing them together. We are literally trying to put death on death. The leaves are dying. They're disconnected from what's keeping them alive. So were we disconnected from what was keeping us alive. So our soul has been suffering ever since, which is why we're so depressed today, and which is why people have all these addictions, and people are yet unsatisfied and unfulfilled until they give their life to Christ, and even still have to go on this journey of sanctification, and where they're finally reconnected to what keeps them alive and keeps them going. It starts in the spirit, it pours over into the psychological realm, the psyche, the soul, mind, emotions. And then once our soul gets saved, then we can live that life out in the body. Paul went on to say, the life I live in the body, I live to God. I'm no longer living for me because I've been saved in my spirit, manifested in my soul. My soul has been saved, and now I'm living out my salvation in the body. We are spirits, so it starts in the spirit. We possess a soul, so it pours into our soul, our psyche, but we live in a body. A lot of people only focus on the life that they're living in their body without paying attention to what's going on in the psychological realm or the spiritual realm. Along with that comes 3 dimensions of attack. You have spiritual warfare, and all of us focus on spiritual warfare. I'm going through spiritual warfare, spiritual warfare, spiritual warfare. Some of us ain't going through spiritual warfare. Some of us are going through psychological warfare. Some of you just need to get into therapy. That's where that comes from. No, you're not going through spiritual warfare, baby. You just need therapy. You have a psychological problem. Then there are people who just go to therapy trying to, solve to provide psychological solutions to spiritual issues. Therapy is not going to overcompensate for your need to worship. Therapy is not going to make up for your need to seek God, to pray more intensely, to fast, to study, to go to church. Therapy cannot overcompensate for that. That's a spiritual problem. You need a spiritual solution. I cannot cure cancer with insulin, and I can't cure diabetes with chemo. I got to have the right diagnosis. I have to have the right diagnosis. And I have to also have the right treatment for that right diagnosis. Then a lot of people say, let me go to the gym and start working out. I went through a breakup. I'm going to go to the gym. Okay, that's great. Now you're trying to solve an emotional issue in the psychological realm. In fact, it really started in the spirit. The breakup messed you up spiritually, which messed you up psychologically. Because even the Bible says that if the body falls sick, the spirit will keep it well. So the breakup disconnected you spiritually. Now you're mad at God, and where the spirit could have kept you, you have no spirit to keep you. Now my soul is dying, and I'm depressed, and I'm sad, and now it's being seen in my body. Disease, dis-ease, I'm stressed out. So now sicknesses are coming, and now I don't want to get out the bed, and now I'm overeating or undereating, and now I'm battling with addictions, whatever that addiction may be. And so I'm like, okay, maybe let me go to the gym, or let me diet, or something like that. You're trying to focus on level 3. Are you hitting all 3 levels of growth? You're 3-dimensional beings: body, soul, spirit. A spirit possessing a soul living in a body. 3-dimensional warfare. Are you hitting all 3 dimensions of growth? Yeah, there are people who go to church their entire life and never get to be all that God has created them to be because you only poured into yourself spiritually. There are people who only do the psychological. There are people who only do the physical. Have you ever met somebody so fine and they're so dumb, they have no depth to them? And like, you are so fine, baby, you look good physically, all right? But you could even have a good job, all right? But you don't have any depth to you. You're lame. You're boring. You ain't got nothing to talk about. You don't care about nothing. Like, you're just a box, a block, whatever. You're nothing. Because you only focused on that 3rd level. That's a conversation for another day. Yeah. But every day of your life, God is preparing you for where He's taking you. And it is how we participate in that day that determines where we go. Do you understand you're living in an answered prayer right now? And I don't mean that cliche, like, God, you prayed and asked God to pay the bill is paid. Yeah, we know that. But okay, wait, let's pause. Let's highlight that. We're living in an answered prayer. Yeah, the bills get paid, all right. I remember the days when I couldn't pay bills. I was actually sitting up here watching one of my live replays on YouTube. If you want to check it out, I was watching the one called Psalms 37. I remember when I was in DBU. There's people's names that I was saying in this video because I try to acknowledge people when I see them who's been sticking with me, staying with me, who I continue to see. It's not favoritism. I just pay attention. I just, recognize certain names. After a while, we done got close, baby. It goes back to the Discord days. Some of the people I connected with when we were on Discord and we were texting like besties. And I'm like, wow, look at how far we've come. Now, can I add in the fact that I have over $20,000, I think, in student loans when I was only literally at this school for 2 months, August, September, and I left October 14th. I got the letter in the mail because, they give you time to pay it. So I kind of forgot. And I thought maybe if I withdrew, they were going to, cancel that out. I got the letter. I said, oh, I really got to pay these people. Biden, now I need student loan relief because now I got to pay these people. And I didn't learn nothing. All I did was take advantage of those meals, okay? I did get Chick-fil-A every single day. But I'm like, wow, I had to remember these things. And in this video, I am literally talking about everything that I've been through. The things that I couldn't even remember. Like even now, low-key, I'm trying to remember what it is that I said in the video that I had went through. And truth be told, I can't even remember it. Like God will literally so transform and change your life where you can't even remember. The former things have passed away. Behold, I'm doing a new thing. Do not remember the former things. Like God will literally wipe your memory, and that's what it's all about. He does not want you identifying your today based on your yesterday. So I've got to wipe your memory. So now I don't think the way that I thought before. I don't even remember that stuff. So now, I got to be careful because sometimes I turn my nose up at people when I was just like them. Sometimes I be frowning, looking at them nasty when I was just like him. And so we can't be judgmental, but it is true that we are no longer the same person. So the judgment that I'm extending is no longer hypocritical because I'm no longer that person anymore. Baby, I've elevated. Baby, I've leveled up, leveled up, leveled up. I'm in a new dimension. I'm on a new level. I've got a new devil to fight, yes, but I'm on a new level. And so it's not necessarily hypocritical when I'm not trying to judge you, baby, but I just couldn't fathom it anymore. But you did it. Yeah, that was that me. This is a new me. I'm literally trying to recall it, and I can't remember what I talked about in this video. You have to go back and just watch it. And I'm like, wow, I've really come so far. Truth be told, I forget I went to DBU sometimes. Like literally, we are only here today because of what happened at DBU. That is what drew people to, that was the right time where God was drawing people to my ministry. Do you know a lot of people like you better when you're suffering and struggling? A lot of people see, because it makes them feel more comfortable and more relatable. But once you start elevating and growing, that's when people don't really like you too much. People start experiencing more. The higher you go, the more you advance, the more you increase, the more you expand, the more you accomplish. Expect the warfare to increase. They don't hate you when you're nobody. They hate you the more that you become somebody. And you can always tell who you are by who hates you. Hear me clearly. When David was going to fight Goliath, his brothers hated on him, always hated on him. David didn't really pay too much attention to them. Like, you know what I'm saying? He already knew he was better than them. Those weren't his enemies for real. Saul, who was king while David wasn't, hated David, was coming after David. David was fighting a king, which let him know that he was a king. Do you hear me clearly? Your enemies will tell you who you are, which means also everybody is not your enemy. Do you hear me clearly? Everybody is not your enemy. Everything is not worth your time. Just because y'all go back and forth, just because you have a situation, just because you get in an argument, doesn't mean that person is your enemy. Sometimes it's just the devil trying to make you stoop lower than you're supposed to stoop. Sometimes you only go through warfare because you're flying too low. When eagles are meant to fly high, it's only crowded when you fly too low. It's only a few eagles are flying high. It's only a few birds in the sky at the level the eagles fly. But if you go outside your house, depending on where you are, of course, you'll see a whole bunch of birds. Because ain't nothing special about flying low. Everybody's not your enemy. The devil's only after your focus. Everything's not worth your time. Every single day is preparing you. And I'm like, wow, look how far we come. I had someone literally, I can't remember, but they commented on one of my lives. And they said, you've grown so much. It's good to see something. I'm like, yeah, babe, absolutely. They say practice makes perfect. Consistency is key. If you just keep showing up, eventually it's going to become easier. Eventually it's going to start to make sense. So here I am in the just showing up. And the most challenging thing you will ever do, hear me clearly, is learn your lesson. This is how we grow in wisdom. This is how we grow in being equipped for where God is taking us, but it's challenging. It's like studying for a test. I don't know what your FYP looks like on TikTok. I'm intentional about programming mine a certain way. Shout out to Essentia. They just need to go ahead and sponsor the ministry. So we can give out essential water every month or something like that. Go ahead, Essentia, if you're listening. And anybody connected to Essentia, we would love to partner with you and do the workings of God. But if you ever hear anyone in law school who's preparing to take the bar talk, they'll talk about how stressed they are about taking the bar. They're scared, they're a little worried, they're uncertain, they're uncomfortable with it. It's a lot to learn your lessons. You went through all the class, all the school, and now you got to take one test that moves you to the next level. It's hard to learn your lessons. It's one thing to go through it. It's another thing to be present in the class. All this stuff, you can show up every single day. I mean, you live your life every day, don't you? But to actually learn your lesson and to actually get something out of what you're going through, that takes intention, maybe awareness. I say maybe if Peter was aware that the wind's blowing While he was walking on the water was only a test. Maybe if he was aware of the test, he might have passed it differently. Maybe he wouldn't have had to hear, "Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt?" Maybe he wouldn't have had to hear that if he was aware, but he wasn't aware. We are aware. Peter didn't have a Bible to read from. We've got the Bible to read from. So we should be aware of the fact that every single day of our life, God is training us, teaching us for where we're going. I want to be wiser, okay? Wisdom is not something you can go to school and study. Wisdom happens over time. Wisdom happens when you start moving slow. It happens when you look within yourself. Knowledge comes by looking around and paying attention. We become observational, right? We observe to grow in knowledge, to understand human behavior. Understanding establishes to go deeper in the understanding of the word, to go deeper in the roots of the universe. We observe to understand. But wisdom is not something you can get from the outside. Wisdom is something you tap into on the inside. The Bible says wisdom is a spirit. Wisdom is a spiritual thing. The first level of growth is spiritual growth, growing in wisdom. And Jesus increased in wisdom. That was level 1. In stature, level 2. And in favor, level 3. With God and with men. Favor goes spiritually and naturally, physically. We pray all these amazing prayers, yet we reject the amazing process. And it leaves me to ask the question, what do you really want? Literally, what do you really want? When was the last time that you sat with yourself and asked yourself, what do you really want? Not what do I think I need to do, not what do my parents want me to do, but what do I really want? You know how many people go to school? I know people with doctorates, masters, and bachelors that don't do anything that aligns with what they studied because it wasn't what they really wanted to do. Before I started ministry, before I started ministry, I did e-commerce. But even after I started my ministry, like in literally the first year of my ministry, I was going to school for cybersecurity. Literally. And to this day, I'm like, if God ever tells me to stop doing ministry, if I ever stop being effective, baby, we're going to hop right back into cybersecurity and keep on going forward in that thing. But literally when I was in school for it, classes were 6 hours long. I do believe 6 or 4. 4 or 6 hours long. Whatever the case, both of them is too long. But I think it was 6 hours long. I didn't really want to do that. Not enough to participate in the process. See, that's the thing. When you really don't want to do something, it's harder to participate in the process versus when you do want to do something. I didn't really want to do it. I mean, the money was good. And I love working with computers. Technology is exciting. I love technology. And I want to get in the AI space. And I want to do all of that, get into innovation. I definitely want to do those things for sure. But to spend 6 hours daily in a class talking about, I don't know. I don't like wasting my time. I didn't really want that. That's the thing. What do you really want? Life isn't that challenging when you're going after what you really want. You can ask 2 people. One person will say, if you say, do you love your job? One person will say, no, I hate my job. I hate it. I just work it. Another person will say, I love my job. It's all based on them doing what they want to do. There are people who say they hate working for Amazon. And often those are people who are working on the warehouse level, delivery station level, and the like. They hate their job. Now, me personally, I'm always advocate for Amazon. Baby, I worked at Amazon a few different times, okay? And I that was a plan, EFGHIJK. It was on my list, too. I could stay at Amazon and just grow through Amazon because Amazon eats, okay? People just don't like to work. What Kim Kardashian tried to tell y'all, people don't like to work. That's the problem. Everybody wants something easy. But Amazon, baby, I worked at a sort center. I never worked at the fulfillment center, ever. Every center I worked at was a sort center. So I don't know nothing about fulfillment. But I know at the Sort Center, throwing boxes, that's easy. Get me a workout in. See, pausing. It's all about how you view everything. I talked about this on live the other day. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 4 and 23 that our thoughts literally create our reality. They control our life. It's how you view it. Baby, I was excited to go to work. This was my workout. Okay, put my headphones in, and I used to get irritated when they told me to take it out because now you're messing with my thoughts, right? I've imagined this picture. I've created this picture of what this situation is doing and producing and what it is versus what it actually is, right? So don't tell me to take my headphones out because now you're messing out with my workout. No, I don't need you in the truck helping me bust these boxes. I don't need you in the truck helping me throw these packages. Leave me alone. I can bust my own trucks down, and I work more efficiently than the other people. No shade, no shade, no shade. Okay? I would put my headphones on, have my workout routine. Get a check. Overtime if necessary. What? I loved it. Last time I was working at Amazon, me and my ex were staying together, so it was my time to be away from him. Child, love me some Amazon. Now, people didn't like to work. So people say Amazon's not that good. Please. I literally know people who would rather sit at home broke than go to Amazon. Hopefully, they get to like... Anyways, Amazon is amazing. But when you listen to what the top level execs say versus the people in the warehouses and the like, they say, oh, I love my job because they're doing what they want to do. Most people at Amazon are doing it because they have to. That's the only job that was available. Quick hire, easy, you know what I'm saying? Other people went to school and they went to Amazon. Like, Amazon warehouse pay is actually pretty good, especially if you move up in the ranks and all that good, great stuff. Like, there are so many avenues to get your finances and your life together. You just got to be consistent and pick one and stick with one, because Amazon is really amazing. Not get off of them because they didn't pay me for this promo. You know, it's just real and authentic. But when you actually get off of the warehouse website and go on the Amazon careers website, maybe they have so many 6-figure plus jobs available. People literally love working for Amazon, the perks, you know? And so it's all about doing what you want to do, what you love to do, what's in your heart to do. The Bible says, God says, I'll give you the desires of your heart. Psalms 37, delight yourself also in the Lord, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. Huh? The desires. I'm desiring to do this. I'm happy to do this. Let's look up the definition. A strong feeling. Desire is a strong feeling of wanting to have something or wishing for something to happen. I want to do this. I will give you the desires of your heart, the wants of your heart. What do you want to do? I've literally been settling myself in that. Oh, Jesus, almost dropped my essential. Not Jesus. Oh, Lord. What Nicki Minaj say? I took 2 bars off just to laugh. I took 2 weeks. Just about. I didn't go live. I sent a couple newsletters in the 2 weeks. And it was good. And I was like, oh, yeah. Because a lot of what I do it. Well, ministry is literally doing stuff. Your life revolves around doing for other people. But like, the press that I have concerning some things is literally just for other people. And I was like, this really doesn't make me happy. Like, this is not something I want to do. I want to be effective, and I want to make sure I'm engaging with people on a daily, but I want to do it in a way that excites me, not in a way where I feel like this is what I have to do. And so I'm like really settling in on making sure I'm doing things that I want to do. I was watching Abbott Elementary, and they got me now, okay? At first, I didn't like Abbott Elementary. I thought it was corny. I thought it was dry. And even while I'm watching it now, I be catching myself laughing like, oh my gosh, this show is actually hilarious, and I'm really eating it up. My favorite character is, of course, Ava. But I love all of them. All right. I love all of them. I love the flow and everything. Like, it's such a good show. It's deserved every award it's gotten, for real, all right? And in the show, at least I'm on season 2. I'm not on season 3. I think it's season 3 because I'm watching it on HBO Max. And Janine, and Tyler James. I can't remember his character. You know, they kissed or whatever. And y'all, if you're on season 3, leave me alone. I'm on season 2. And, you know, they like each other. Apparently they've been like each other since day one. Day one. But Janina's like, you know, maybe I need to be selfish right now because her ex called her selfish. Watch the show, okay? And you'll get it. My point is this. She said, no, I don't want to be together because I really do like you. Dang near love at this point. But if selfish is what I need to be right now, I don't want to hurt you by me being selfish. My godfather told me once, he said, it's okay to be selfish as long as you being selfish doesn't hurt anybody else. Sometimes you being selfish is what helps someone else. If I constantly am running around on E, then E, me, is not happy. I told this story on live, and I don't know if I should told you. Well, I don't know if I should tell y'all on the podcast. Yeah, I don't know. You're just going to have to find out if you find out. But I literally had... Okay, I'm going to tell y'all. So, it was this Sunday. I left... I went to go see this vision service or whatever for this new church building. And when I came back, this is when I was in Atlanta. And so I was staying in this high-rise apartment. It was an Airbnb. And so, of course, it was a luxury high-rise. So, of course, you had key fobs, all of this. Everybody couldn't get in, and you surely couldn't get up. And so this day, I was so tired. I was even delirious. I think I fell asleep in the back of my Uber, whatever the case may be. And, you know, I woke up in time, whatever. It wasn't a little groggy, like sleep, like you look crazy. No, you know what I'm saying? It was like a little quick. And so I got out the car. I'm going and I walk up. I got in the first door. I'm in waiting, you know, I'm looking for my fob to get in the second door. I had carried a big bag and I only had, you know, and I just took a couple items with me, irrelevant. And so I'm searching for the key fob and the key, right? And I haven't found it. I was only there for like 10 seconds, you know, or so. And so she ends up opening the door for me, the front desk lady. And it was like, okay. Mind you, me and this lady already had a beef because I had complimented her on her looks and she didn't really give me the energy that I want. Like if I compliment you, the people, you know, where I'm from, the people that I connect with, if I compliment you, you know what I'm saying? It's energy giving. Anytime someone compliments me, you know I'm going to come back and say, I'm just trying to keep up with you, baby. It's a matching of energy, you know? And she was just dry. Like, girl, I didn't have to compliment you. I didn't have to tell you look good. Truth be told, I could have lied and said you look bad. Anyways, I didn't say that. And so she didn't give me the energy. So, you know, I just remembered it and I didn't like the way that it went. So I went in or whatever and I was walking to the elevator, minding my business. I had found my fob or whatever. And as I'm on my way to hit the button to the elevator, I was like, oh, wait, I want to go outside. I was tired. Like I said, I fell asleep in the Uber, but I just wanted to go outside. Like I just wanted to have a chill day, just relax and not do anything, but not also just go to sleep. And so I ended up double backing. I turned back and I went to the front desk. I'm like, oh, hey, where's the outside? What floor is the outside stuff on? This girl looked at me like I was crazy, which was strike number one. Now, see, when you're running on full, I can take this and I've got patience for people. But when you've exhausted yourself to the point that you're running on E, now what I would normally have patience for, I'm walking a thin line, right? Everybody's on a thin line with me right now. She looked at me like I was crazy, first of all. And I said, the outside stuff? She literally asked me, huh? She said, are you delivering something? What's going on? I said, excuse me? I said, I don't think you get what I'm saying. Mind you, this was not a 30-second combo. This was like a 1 minute, 2 minute of us going back and forth. I said, huh? The outside stuff, you know what I'm talking about? Like the terrace or something? She's like, what unit are you in? I said, what does that have to do with me asking you? She's like, do you live here? She was asking me all these questions. I'm like, I don't think you get what I'm saying. I'm literally laughing, like smiling, you know, trying to be professional. I don't think you get what I'm saying. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm saying, what floor is the outside stuff? This girl gonna say outside stuff. You said outside stuff. Ho, I don't care if I said, I don't care if I said, where's the outside purple balloon? It don't matter what I called the terrace. You knew what I was talking about. Why are you asking me so many questions? Sorry. Actually, I'm not. Because listen, this girl sat up in my face asking me all of these questions. What unit are you in? What level is outside? You can't even get up the elevator without scanning a key fob. Do you hear me? So really, you asking me if I stay here, you asking me what unit. None of this matters because even if I was a guest, or if I was trespassing. You can't even get off of the main level, the lobby level, without a key fob. Then, okay, truth be told, later on, I went off, cussed her out and everything. Somebody on live, when I told the story, they were like, did she cry? I'm like, no, I don't talk about people. I'm not evil. I just cussed her out. I had to let her know, don't play with me. You ask me all these questions, right? Later on, I go on the website. I'm like, I know the information's out there. Why is it literally front page on the website? Because it's not a secret. You can't access it anyways without a key fob. What is my point in this besides me just getting that off my chest? Because when I told it on live, it's different when people can actually respond to you live. And it's through a screen. Like when I'm reading comments, it's a different type of flow. That's why when I first started doing lives, I would cover up the comments because it kind of throws you off. When people are on a stage with speaking, it's nobody else talking at that time. When you're on live, you have to manage people talking while you're talking and responding. It's an experience, right? So I didn't really get to give the energy because I was like, oh, I wonder what people think because, people like to judge. But while you're listening to this, baby, I done moved on. I done posted the episode and moved on. So you can judge me by your lonesome. I had to tell her what was up. My point is when you are constantly exhausting yourself, not being selfish enough to restore yourself, replenish yourself, to revive yourself, to make sure that your cup is full. When you're running on empty, I can give it to you just like a vehicle. Some people will tell you, do not let your tank go below half because then all the impurities in the tank start to get into the engine or something of the like, right? Don't let it even go below, like when your tank is on E, don't keep driving around with it on E because the impurities that are in the tank will start to get into the engine. This is often for people who have older vehicles. So you got to keep the gas closer to full to make sure that which isn't pure, to make sure the toxins do not pollute the engine. You've got to make sure that as you continue throughout life, aging and maturing, that you keep your cup on full. Because it's true, just as we go through life, we're getting wisdom, we're getting lessons, we're getting strength. We also do have to go through trauma. We also have to go through pain as well. And you've got to make sure that your pain is not pouring out in the midst of your purpose. I never present myself like that in public. I am very intentional to make sure that the person people see in public matches the person that they see online. I'm very intentional about that thing. But truth be told, that day I didn't care. I was like, what if someone's recording a video? I don't care. That's why I'm like, I'll address, y'all know me. Okay, I don't have to be fake. I don't play no games like that. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be honest. We can grow together and go together, baby. All right. The Lord is still working on me in some areas. Yes. But you have to be full. And you can never be full when you are not doing something that doesn't fuel you. Do you understand? That don't even make sense. If you are not going to something that fuels you, if I don't take my car to the gas station to get fuel, if my PO is listening, no, I don't have a car, no, I don't drive, okay? And this is actually real news, okay? Excuse me. But if you take your car to the gas station, if your car's on E and you got to get gas, you have to go to the gas station. You follow me? If I'm running low and I need to get to full, I've got to go to what fuels me. So spiritually, the only way we can get the fuel that we need spiritually is to worship, to read the word of God, to go before him in prayer, to spend time with him. That is our fuel system for faith. We go to the Spirit, him. There is one Spirit, him, the Holy Spirit, God. We go before his feet. We go before his throne. And then I get what I need spiritually. Then it pours over into my soul. So the Spirit does the spiritual work concerning the soul. But then I read and I study to grow myself psychologically. Then I might have to go to therapy and whatever the case may be. Maybe I take ashwagandha. I think I'm going to do a pause now because I've been taking it for a little while. And they said something about you got to pause. But I had to do stress management, whatever the case whatever you got to do to get your mind, will, and emotions in order. Once you've got that spiritual strength, it equips you to get that psychological strength that you need, to then have the physical strength that you need, to be able to handle what the devil throws at you in the physical. You need to have stamina in the psychological, which is the mental and the emotional. And in order to handle what he's going to throw at you psychologically in your mind, the worst battle you will ever fight is the battle that takes place in your mind. You have to have the spiritual stamina, the spiritual strength. Yeah. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that it's your time to rise and shine like never before. Do you hear me clearly? It's your time to rise and shine like never, ever, ever before. Maybe I should title this Rise and Shine. I like to give titles. I like special titles. Maybe I should title it It's Preparing You, but I kind of like Rise and Shine. I don't know. We'll see what God does in the end. But I really want you to know that everything that you're going through today is preparing you for your tomorrow. And I don't mean that like I mean that in fact. I mean, it's a faith thing, but it's literally fact. Like when you pray and ask God for a thing, the best analogy and example I can give you is when people want to be rocket scientists and when people want to be a doctor, whatever they want to be, a lawyer, you go to school and you're trained to do that thing. The same thing happens with God. You are taught and trained on how to do that thing. Every day, life is your greatest teacher. My question is, are you paying attention? I hope I honed in on the point of, do you want to do? What do you want to do? What has God placed in your heart to do? What do you love to do? One thing about me, I love to sing. Anyone who knows me knows this. Anyone who knows me, even my cousin, we are so similar spiritually. She has said to me one day, she said, we're alike or something. We were the same. Something she said, I can't remember. We're the same. And I never told her this. But at the time, because I ended up like months or maybe even a year later, I asked her, like, what did you mean by that? She's like, what did you think I mean? And I low-key thought that she was saying, she was in the LGBT community. That's what I thought she was saying. Mind you, she's a worship leader, okay? She's a devout woman of God since youth, okay? She is not one of them, all right? My ministry is definitely a fresh in comparison. So when she said that, I was like, oh, okay. The whole time for a minute, this is what I thought. I'm never going to tell her this. Hopefully she never hears this podcast episode. We never talked about it, right? Anyways. But what I realized when I asked her, and then over time, I'm like, oh, we both are worshipers. Like, yeah, I can preach, I can teach, and I can speak. But baby, I'm a worshiper at heart. I say what made King David so amazing was not that God made him a king. God said, I found a man after my own heart. God made him king. What David was authentically, without being made that way, was a worshiper. David was created to worship. What's the song? I was created for your glory. I was created for your glory. Isaiah. But I'm looking for the song by, was it Ernest Pugh, I Need Your Glory? No, whatever the case. David was a worshiper, right? Because he was the greatest worshiper, God made him the greatest king. David worshipped and praised God until he came out of his clothes, baby. That is me all day. That's who I am. And I'm like, oh, that's what we have in common. I love to sing. I want a vocal coach. Literally, the reason my voice is the way it is because I take my time training my voice, right? But I just want a vocal coach. And when I get one, I have all the confidence and validation that I need to sing publicly. Now, though I can sing, I still get a little insecure. I still get nervous, you know what I'm saying? Because if I'm going to sing, I want to make sure that this sounds good. But truth be told, my best singing happens when I just get lost in worship and just focus on God. Robin, what's your point? My point is, because I love to do it, it's easy for me to do it. Anyone who knows me, I'm always singing. Literally, if you can talk to anyone who's ever, except for people where I couldn't be myself around, where I didn't feel like free, right? But anyone who's been around me where I've been me for real, free for real, I'm going to sing, baby. If it's one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to worship God. And I'm not the best singer at secular songs. My heart's not in that thing. But I worship my butt off, okay? And because I love to do it, I just do it naturally, all throughout the day, anytime. God will wake me up at 1 a.m. I'd pray and I worship. Literally, random, okay? And so, you gotta make sure you're doing what you love and what you want to do. That's what makes life easier. You have to make sure that you're taking time to restore and replenish yourself so you're not running on E, but you're running on full so you can handle everything that life is going to throw at you. And you have to understand, beloved, that today is your training class for your tomorrow. A lot of times we have to go through spiritual warfare heavily because where God is taking us has a lot of spiritual activity. So we get frustrated with all the spiritual warfare, not understanding God allows it so that when you get to where you're going, you can handle the warfare that takes place on that level. Sometimes the reason we're going through so much psychological warfare is because everyone's going to be trying to play with your mind on that level. And baby, sometimes God is trying to build a testimony that he's still healing the sick, that he's still letting the lame walk, that the blind are still seeing. So believe God on today and every day. I want you to know that I love you. I want you to know that you've got this. I want you to know you've got this because God has you. I want you to know that it cannot destroy you. Whatever you're going through right now, it cannot destroy you. It's only developing you. What did God tell the devil when he was trying to get Job? He said, you can touch his body, but you better not take his life. You can't kill him. It cannot kill you. It cannot destroy you. God is only using it to develop you. As long as you stay aware that God is only developing you every day of your life, as long as you shift your perspective concerning it and establish a fresh way of perceiving it, you will float, even walk on the waters that you otherwise would be sinking in. Ladies and gentlemen, everything as it relates to this ministry and everything The Robin Boynton is linked where? In my link tree. So you can go on my Instagram, The Robin Boynton, TikTok, The Robin Boynton. I only have one Instagram, I only have one TikTok. Okay? I don't know. Period. You can click my link tree. There are ways to partner and connect with this ministry. If you're not connected to the ministry newsletter, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but you got to get connected to us. I've got so many amazing things soon, but we'll talk about that on next week's podcast. I love you. And it's your time to rise and shine like never before. God is good. Go be great. I'll see you later.